Io ricordo una grandissima performance vocale di Vin Diesel in Iron Giant ed è stata la sua unica esperienza, per quanto io so, di dare voce a un cartoon. Siccome adesso a Hollywood ci sono infinite possibilità tra Pixar, DreamWorks, PBI, di grandi film d'animazione anche adulti, no? Mi domandavo se lui non ha più dato voce a personaggi di animazione per sua scelta o perché dopo quel film sfortunato ma bello in cui ha fatto un grande lavoro non è più capitato. Se è interessato a quel tipo di linguaggio e di espressione artistica.
That's a very good one. That's my question. Why the hell have they not asked me to do any voices? I have no idea why Pixar has not called me and asked me to do a voice. I mean, I don't know if my agents are turning stuff down that I don't know, or why in the world they haven't asked me to do another animated series, because I would, because I so much enjoyed doing Iron Giant. I don't know if they feel like the voice is too strong. I don't know why. It's a very good question. Why the hell haven't they had me do a voice for another animated film? This is a good question. We share the same question. I have no idea. But yes, to answer your question, I would very much like to do another good. See, sometimes when they know that you're too precious, they won't even waste their time giving you bubble gum, right? But there's a lot of good animated films that they didn't even think of. I don't know. I have no idea. It's a very good question. I know that when I did the Iron Giant, I wasn't a father yet, and I thought of doing this voice. I thought it would be a very cool thing, because when I would have kids someday, my kid could go into first grade, and when the teacher asks all the kids, what does your father do? My kid could say, my daddy's the Iron Giant. I thought that was fun and very exciting. I don't know, it's really a good question, because I'm going to be thinking about it all day. Why the hell am I not?
Salve, Fabio Davide di Magic.it. Avrei una domanda per il signor Diesel. Col tempo lei è diventato, anche grazie alle trasposizioni videoludiche dei suoi film, un'icona non solo del mondo cinematografico ma anche del mondo videoludico. Come vive questo stato di fatto?
Well, I grew up, my generation started this whole video game revolution, right? It started when we were really young.
Sorry, Pong.
Pong too. We would go in the 70s, we would go into Radio Shack and play TV tennis, TV Pong. And then of course it evolved, right? It went to ColecoVision, it went to Atari, it went to Nintendo. When I came to Hollywood, I didn't tell anybody that I liked video games. I was a little embarrassed of it. I was not sure how it would be taken. And then while I was shooting Saving Private Ryan, I learned that Steven Spielberg liked video games and was making a video game called Medal of Honor. And he was drawing from all the research that he did for Saving Private Ryan. It was like imagine him amassing all this conceptual art, all this information, all this data for Saving Private Ryan, and allowing the spillover to still be valuable in another medium. I think that the video game medium is uncharted ground. I think it's such an interesting form of entertainment.
Yeah, he used to kick my ass all the time when we were doing the first Fast and Furious. I thought I was a pro. I was like, oh, I'll get him good.
She's good at those first-person shooters. Do not go up against Michelle Rodriguez in a first-person shooter. You'll have a hole in your head. So then, after I found out that Steven Spielberg was vocal and unashamed to admit that he likes video games, I started exploring the idea of creating a video game company. When I did the Chronicles of Riddick, the same thing happened. We had amassed all this story, all this mythology that was just going to be left over because we couldn't put it in the movie. So Universal, who's always been very generous to me, allowed me to take the pitch black title and turn it into a game, which became Escape from Butcher Bay. And then we got the award for this game being the best film adapted video game. Dark Athena, as you know, comes out in 2 weeks, I believe. The Wheelman, which comes out, I think, this week or something.
That demo's really cool. I compare it to Grand Theft Auto. I think it's actually probably even better. Yeah,
It's exciting.
It's really cool. You can go through buildings and stuff and come out the other side in your car.
It's a child in us all. It's a child in us all. And so, perfect example for Chronicles of Riddick, I was able to add story elements to the video game that would have cost $10 more million to the movie, but we were able to create animatics that gave more depth to the mythology and universe of Chronicles of Riddick. Being a kid that grew up in the 70s and the 80s playing Dungeons and Dragons, my mind thinks like that. I like the idea that if you buy into an intellectual property, or you buy into a universe, or you buy into a mythology, that you can continue your search and your exploration by comic books or by animes or by video games. So I think video games is one of the most interesting phenomena. For up until 5 years ago, titles like Michelle just mentioned, Grand Theft Auto, were very solitary. It was an experience, a singular experience, right? This is before Xbox came with multiplayer online, and you could kick somebody's ass over it in another country in a game like DOA or something. But now, video games has morphed, has evolved into this incredibly social experience. So when you think of these massive multiplayer online games, people are playing video games to feel some of that social that they might not be allowed in their life. Maybe the gas prices are too high and they can't go to the mall the same way they used to, or there are not enough playgrounds anymore, or whatever. The idea that people are playing video games for these social reasons is a phenomenon that, I think would warrant a discussion with Freud or Socrates. It'd be very interesting to see what these philosophers how they would comment on this new phenomenon, this new, and of course this is all intriguing for me, and so I've managed to take this hobby and turn it into an occupation, which is the secret of life. Do what you love, and you'll never have to work another day in your life.
Io mi scuso con chi non è riuscito a fare la domanda, e purtroppo il tempo è scaduto.